I know what you're thinking. Hey, he's like a ghost because of like the ghost stories thing. And then you're probably going to ask like, but why is like his chair also slightly invisible? And that's only because the video editing is hard. So this is my Ghost Stories review of the new Coldplay album, LP6. You'll remember, is it like 3 years now? 3 years back I did a Milo Xyloto review, back when the album first came out, and I'm doing one again for Ghost Stories now. I'm going to kind of do the same thing I did both with all the album reviews I've done and with the Milo Xyloto review. I'm going to kind of talk about the build-up towards the album, and then track-by-track review, and then a score. So this album didn't have as much build-up to it as Milo Xyloto did. There was a lot of, well, if you go back and watch my MX review, I kind of talk about how over the course of several months, 4 to 6 months or so, there was this build-up of just constant like release from them of different little snippets until the album came out. But not so much with this one. There was talk of their new record, that they were producing it mainly themselves. It was more stripped back. People said it was kind of Rush of Blood to the Head-ish. And I was like, these all sound like good things. But it was never on the front of my mind or anything else, because there wasn't any build-up. And then, out of the blue, they released on Twitter like something new happening at 12 o'clock midnight on this time zone, and I didn't really pay that much attention to it because I wasn't expecting what was gonna come out. I thought it was just gonna be maybe like an announcement or just something like cryptic, because I was kind of expecting like the beginning of what happened with Milo Xyloto, where it's just like a cryptic little message leading up into something big. But no, they go and release Midnight, the first song released from the album. When I first heard it, I like basically woke up, saw it on my Facebook feed, and it was like, new Coldplay song, Midnight. It didn't say if it was off the new album or not. Just nothing. Just new song. That's all. And I started listening to it, and I'm thinking, wow, this is what I wanted, sort of, because one of the first cryptic, I'm going to throw it up here in the corner, among the first cryptic videos from the MX reveal build-up was this bit of video. It's this little video clip that had some Every Teardrop lyrics, but it had the bass line to the chorus of the song. The bass line sounds completely different from the chorus. It's really kind of dark and brooding, but if you listen to the song, you'll know that they're like major chords and it's upbeat and blah blah blah. So I was expecting a different kind of sound from what I heard in that video, but Midnight was that dark sound. It kind of delivered on that sort of, not disappointment, but just kind of, I didn't quite get what I was expecting. It had solid lyrics, pretty solid lyrics. I liked the effects on Chris's voice. People got all up in arms saying like, oh, trying to rip off Bon Iver and Imogen Heap, huh? Well, first off, Bon Iver doesn't have a patent on, or a copyright on vocal layering, and Imogen Heap doesn't have one on using a vocoder either. So just because he's using these techniques in this song doesn't mean he's ripping them off. It's like, that's the same as saying like he used a guitar in this song, he's ripping these people off. It's completely irrelevant. He used these techniques. He's not ripping anybody off. It's what he wanted to do. Deal with it. So Midnight was kind of a departure from anything they had done before. It was kind of experimental ambient stuff, almost a chill wave kind of thing going on in there. And it really segregated a lot of people, like MX had before. People were like, oh, I don't like them now. But they failed to see that a good band evolves from album to album. Everyone wants another Parachutes or another Rush of Blood to the Head. But, I mean, look what happened with Mumford & Sons. They made Sigh No More Volume 2. So, the fact that Coldplay moves on and progresses in their genres, I think, is a really good thing, because they maintain a sound throughout all of their songwriting, a certain kind of voice and technique, but they're doing different genres. I mean, they've done alternative rock, kind of indie rock to a point. They've done Baroque pop. They've done EDM now. They've done R&B. It's just kind of all over the board. A little bit of industrial with major minus. So it's all over the board, and I really enjoy that, but other people didn't. So the Midnight was kind of a segregation thing. I enjoyed it. I didn't know quite what it was leading up to, but I was like, okay, they're on to something now. I'm paying attention. So I kind of started going to the Coldplay forums again, like I had with the MX build-up, kind of keeping an eye on things, keeping an eye on talk. And there was a rumor that a new song called Magic was going to be released on Monday, someday, I don't know, I'll put it up here, of like the Twitter post or whatever, I don't know, or the date. But I was like, okay, that's a rumor, but I'll pay attention and see if this song Magic does get announced / released. So it did. New song Magic. This was kind of more of the Coldplay people were kind of used to. It had a bass groove that guy actually wrote himself, I believe. Drum machine. The lyrics. See, this is the problem I have with this album, that I'll get to later. But the lyrics were a little repetitive. They weren't terrible, but they weren't really varied in any way. It was a pleasant song to listen to at the time, I guess I'll say. So that came out, and I believe around the same time it was announced that Ghost Stories was the new name of the album, which had been rumored for a while, and that it was going to be coming out on a certain day, really close to the reveal date, actually. And then over the course of time, track listing got released. Blah, blah, blah. Don't think there's really anything else. Kind of little snippets of tracks got released. And then the album leaked. Really close to the release date, actually. I think it was 4 days before the release date, or something like that. It was pretty tight. I was surprised. So now I'm going to go into the track-by-track review and talk about each track individually. So yeah. First track, Always in My Head. This is one of 2 new tracks they had debuted at the iTunes Festival. And what I heard at the iTunes, it's the one they opened with, and what I heard at the iTunes Festival was kind of like, I dig the guitar, lyrics seem okay, but it didn't really impact me. The studio version, the album version, I think sounds a lot better. It has some nice low sounds. The guitar sounds really nice. I'll kind of touch on the mixing later. I want to talk about the whole album in that respect. But it just sounds pretty good. It's kind of growing on me a little bit. I really like the guitar. Magic was the second song in the track listing. Like I said before, I actually think it's one of the weakest songs on the album, but I still enjoy it. There's a segment which I'll play right about here that's just, I feel, is like classic Coldplay to the Viva era or so, where it's just that kind of outburst of, nice acoustic guitar, soaring melodies, great guitar by Johnny. It's just that's the sound that they're good for, known for. So it's a fairly enjoyable song. I don't play it that much. Third song, Ink. This was one I was interested in hearing, namely because of the name, adverb, wordplay, and I don't know, it's just an intriguing song to me. So I heard it, and it's in my top 3 for sure. The guitar is great. It's a fun little song. Lyrics are good. What else? I don't know. It's just the chords are great. It sounds like jovial Coldplay, and that's a good thing. I like their kind of upbeat, happy songs. Kind of harkens to famous old painters in a certain way, which is never a bad thing. Fourth song, True Love. This one I wouldn't say skeptical about, but I was like, True Love. I read the lyrics and I was like, I don't know. Like I wasn't really anticipating it or anything, but then I heard it, and the chord work is great. This is almost like the fairy tale song of the album. It sounds like a Disney character should be singing it in a musical bit in a movie. Lyrics are almost on the edge of the dark side at some points. The instrumentation is really good. It's a really simple song at the heart of it, with simple melody in the instruments. Johnny has a great guitar bit towards the end, a little solo that is a good example of accenting a song with something new, because you can have like a ground level song, but if you put something in it that kind of changes the tone of it a little bit and gives it a little edge that you didn't quite expect or hear before in the song, that's a good thing. So that's a really solid song. It's another favorite, probably top 5. Midnight, that leads into Midnight, track 5. I already kind of talked about that. Another big favorite. I really enjoy Midnight. I think it's one of the more ambitious songs on the album. 6 is Another's Arms. This is the second track that they previewed or played at the iTunes Festival. I think this is another one of the weaker tracks on the album. It's a good song-wise. The lyrics are, I think, the weakest they've done in a long time. Not only are they a little repetitive, but I mean, if you just listen to the song, you'll know what I mean. It's like, really, Chris? Really? They sampled a song. I don't remember which song it was. I think it's the woman's vocals here at the beginning. But it has some cool mixing to it, some cool sounds. And on the song level, it's enjoyable, I think, but on the lyrical level, it just doesn't really propel the song at all, so I typically skip it. Number 7 is Oceans. They played this for BBC, I think. They played it live. This is almost like the darker twin of Us Against the World. It's mostly based on an acoustic guitar. The chords are really nice. It has a cool sound. Lyrics seem fairly strong. The melodies are interesting. It didn't really impact me much. It's just kind of like, to me, it almost seemed kind of flat in the same way that Us Against the World was to me. It never grabbed me. But I still think that it's solid songwriting. That goes into A Sky Full of Stars. This was a really hyped track. When they played this at some of the shows where they filmed the Ghost Story special, which actually premieres tomorrow night, because I'm filming this May 17th, people were like really hyping about this. They're like, this is like a huge upbeat song, great piano. This is like, whoa. Not that it was like really amazing. It was really hyped up. So I was like, okay, I'm interested. So I heard like a really crappy quality phone recording, probably like the voice memo app on an iPhone. When they played it as an encore, Chris asked people not to record it, but this one guy did. And I was like, sorry, I can't help it. I have to listen. And what I heard on there was like, okay, I really dig the melody. It's soaring like all their good melodies are. I'm digging it. And then finally they released the studio version as a single, I believe, right before the album came out. And it's not a favorite, but I really enjoy listening to it. It's one of those Coldplay upbeat Coldplay songs where you just like, you want to dance, you bob your head to the beat. Chorus is just soaring, and you turn up the bass in your car and it's just thundering, and it's really happy. An interesting thing Chris said about this album was the theme of it is kind of taking the good and the bad together and enjoying it all, which I am all for. I love that stance. And this is kind of like the silver lining of the album is this song, where it's just like all this, sad stuff before or whatever. It's just like, let's just rejoice. And I'm all for that. So this song is kind of here and there for me, but I really enjoy listening to it. It's a lot of fun. I don't think it's meant to be taken as, another sappy Coldplay song. It's a different kind of beast, and the criticism I think that it might get is probably unwarranted in some ways. So, decent track. I enjoy it. And then that leads into the final track, Oh, which is actually the name of the hidden song at the end of this track. The first half is Fly On. So I'm going to refer to it not as O, I think. I might as well refer to the whole thing as O, because it's all kind of one big 7 minute with a 2 minute hidden track gap. I'll refer to it as O. This is probably the best song, one of the best songs they have done for at least, when was Russian Blood of the Head made? 2008. For the 5+ years at least. One of the best songs they have ever made. The piano is beautiful. It is haunting. It is emotional. The lyrics are spot on. The melody is spot on. It's quintessential Coldplay. It's a better closing track than Amsterdam. It's unbelievable. It's not one that I just turn on to listen to all the time, but if the CD or whatever my playlist goes to it, I'll listen, because it's a captivating piece of music. It's unbelievable. It's, as far as quality goes on this album, not personal favorite, this is number one to me. Followed closely by maybe Ink and True Love, tied, and then Midnight, tied with Oh, Ink and True Love, tied, Midnight always in my head, kind of everything else. Oh is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then it goes into, there's a 2 minute gap, but the track I have got rid of that 2 minute gap, and then it goes into the actual O, which has the lyric Don't Let Go, sung over and over by Chris Martin's daughter and her friend. It's just a nice way to close the album. It didn't really jump out to me, but it's just really nice to listen to. So that is the end of the main album track listing. Okay. As far as, I think, what did I initially give Milo Xyloto? An 8? I give Milo Xyloto now, at this point, a really high 6 to almost an even 7, because I think that MX was kind of, in a lot of ways, a disappointment. I think it was really built up to be something really grand, but it was really overproduced and radio ready, and I didn't enjoy that very much. When they came out with the single, not a single, it was on the Every Teardrop is a Waterfall EP, which is really confusing. It was a songs were in there called Moving to Mars. And from that era of music, that was one of my favorite tracks because it was unrestrained, it wasn't radio ready, it was just them being them. And it wasn't like a love song, it was just kind of, it was a really good song. I really liked it. It was really well done. But it was just hidden away on an EP. And that's the thing with Coldplay, is a lot of their best music, in my opinion, is some of their B-sides. Some of their undercurrent songs. So, the rating I give Ghost Stories is a 7.5 to a high 7. Just the main album, okay? So that's my rating for only these 9 songs. Now I'm going to talk about the Target Deluxe Edition with 3 bonus tracks. 6 one way. So Target has a deal with Coldplay, and because they're one of the only stores now that sells CDs still, they did a deal with Coldplay, and Coldplay gave them 3 extra tracks to release as a deluxe edition. These 3 tracks are All Your Friends, Ghost Story, and O Part 2. These 3 tracks give this album, put it on a whole different plane. These are tracks that are not radio ready. They are super legit. All Your Friends is my favorite track from this album. Hands down. Personal favorite. The bass is simple and really nice. Lyrics are amazing. Really dark. Probably the darkest song they've ever done. The melody is fantastic. The chorus is like guitar that's something out of Parachute's era, which sounds great. That isn't me saying do more Parachutes, that's me saying it's Parachutes-esque, which is always a good thing. It has one of the best little segments of music, I think. Well, not one of the best, but one of my favorites. I'll play it right here. I just really enjoy the piano that's being played here. I don't know, this song just really hits to me. I don't know what it is. I really like it. It's really groovy. It's like Magic's darker twin. Personal favorite of the album. Second bonus track is Ghost Story, which is almost like Glass of Water-esque. It's almost like a Viva upbeat song. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the only song on the album that has actual drums, because I think Will uses a drum machine in every song on this album, which gets a little tiring. I think that's true. It's a little tiring. I mean, I don't mind it that much, but it's so nice to hear legit drums on this this track. It's upbeat, the chords are great, melody is fantastic, Chris's singing is great, his falsetto is great. It's a nice 4-minute track, really fun. And the last one is O Part 2. It's only 1.5 minutes. I wish it would have been longer, but it's kind of like what Arcade Fire did with Here Comes the Night and Here Comes the Night 2 on Reflector. It's like they revisit the old melody, but they add like chords to it, kind of new chords, with great guitar, really great guitar. Great, I don't know what the instrument is that's being played, but there's like a melody going on over the top of it, almost like a piano-esque, xylophone-esque, I don't even know. while the Don't Let Go is being sung over it. Really good. Great way to close the album, I think. So these 3 tracks add like a completely new level, I feel, to this album. Because it's like I said, they're not radio ready. They're Coldplay being unrestrained and legit. So with these 3 tracks added into the track listing, I give this album a low 8 to close to an 8.5 for personal rating. So those are like the 2 ratings I have. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. It's a nice album. I like it being stripped back. There's a couple things that I'm nitpicky about with it, but whatever. I think it's an improvement on MX, and I'm really eager to see where it goes from here, because I don't like their songs being overproduced. I like them really stripping back, not caring what the public has to say with something like All Your Friends and Ghost Story. I really love those songs. So that's my review of Ghost Story. Thank you for watching. Check out my MX review if you haven't seen it. And last minute plug, I am a musician, and I have 2 albums that you can download for free in a link in the description at noisetrade.com. So if you're into like instrumental ambient music, impressionistic music, go check that out. You can leave a tip if you want to leave a tip, but it's all free. I'd love it if you went to go listen and share with your friends or whatever. And that's that. So thank you everyone for watching, and happy listening.